What's up, Sushi Squad? We back in some more Trove, and today we're finally continuing the 35k series. I'm not gonna apologize for these videos not coming out super duper often. It's kind of tedious doing these videos. You wouldn't think so, but swapping all your gems over and stuff like that and trying to keep track of everything is just like, hey. Plus I've been working on some other stuff behind the scenes. I finally got all the carpet mounts, blah blah blah. You guys don't care, but you'll see some more videos coming over the next following days. Anyways, before we get started with today's video, if you would kindly, if you're new to Trove anyways, use the sign up link down in the description, and then anything you end up buying out of the cash shop, I'll make a percentage of that sale. It's an awesome way that you can support me by literally just playing the game. Otherwise, you can always check out the new merch or become a member. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. You guys know how it is. Anyways, I'm gonna get my timer set up here, because what we're going to end up doing here, guys, is we're going to end up where's my timer? Where the heck is it? We're basically going to end up spending 5 minutes in the geode surface, and then another 5 minutes, well, another floor, let's say, in the delves, so that we can end up seeing just how powerful a 35k knight can end up being. There we go. Finally got my stupid timer. Okay, so I ended up swapping all my gems over. If you guys want to know my build for my knight, I basically have another video. I already have tutorials of all of my classes and more recent builds for all of them, but you can kind of take a quick gander at my stats right here. I am rocking a full crystal 3 set rather than a full crystal 4. The problem is that these sets they have attack speed on them, which isn't technically ideal, because with the knight you're actually just using your subclass, your gem ability, right? Like your knight subclass ability, no, your knight class gem ability. Blech. words. So the point is that that is not actually governed by attack speed. So technically speaking, we would actually be a little bit stronger on the knight, because we could swap the attack speed out for crit damage. So you guys just gotta keep that in mind. The other thing too is that as far as our speed is concerned, I mean, we're the knight, so we are not going to end up being the speediest character in the game, and we cannot rely on the knight subclass ability on the knight, which means that our mount movement speed is just going to end up being kind of the standard garbage. Wait, we got 90 movement speed and then 99 movement speed without a mount, so we're actually better without a mount. That's hilarious, dude. It doesn't seem like it, does it? Oh god, yeah, this is normal movement speed for a mount. I am not used to that, like legit, because what I'm used to is I'm used to going fast, dude. Okay, well, anyways, let's start the timer and let's go for it. I don't know if I saw, yeah, somebody else ended up going into this dungeon, so that's not gonna be the best representation, but whatever. Does this count? Can it stop being laggy, please? The problem is that our movement speed is really going to hinder how quickly you can end up doing dungeons. Can you stop trying to follow me around, bud? Just because the thing is, you know, other characters obviously have a lot better travel time between dungeons, and that's what's going to kind of keep the knight at bay compared to other classes in the game. Not to mention his roll is actually terrible because it kind of stops in the middle of the animation. But as far as our strength is concerned, I mean, you guys constantly question, is the knight even viable? Yes, the knight is very, very good. As you saw, 42 mil. That's not with a flask or anything. That's not with power-ups or anything. We're two-shotting these bosses. The knight is a powerhouse. And so long as I keep having my, you know, having my pyro disc and having my raptor berserker and everything like that, and all that, well, not raptor berserker, but you know what I mean, having all these things trigger. Speaking of which, I gotta actually swap these out. I'm gonna put let's put trailblazing, and then I'll also put unyielding, just so we get a little bit more survivability. But that's the whole thing, is you want to have all of the movement speed things that you can. What about when we're flying? So that gives us 100 movement speed. So it might actually be better. Right now we're rocking lunacy, because obviously if we end up going big mode, that's giving us more just movement speed in general. It also gives us more damage, but technically speaking, we don't need that, because we're basically one-shotting absolutely everything. What I might recommend is, if you were at a point where you were, I don't know, if you could sacrifice it I would recommend to probably have your Fey subclass ability, just because the Fey subclass ability, as you have a stronger Fey Trickster, let's actually swap to that right now. It's going to give you more movement speed with your wings. Still says we're at 100 movement speed, so I'm not sure what value. Was that the right one? No, that's the Boomeranger. Okay. Wait, what is the Fey Trickster one? That's got to be this one, right? Sparkle Grenade. No, I'm looking for the subclass ability. Flying Speed. There it was. It actually brought it to 110. So that's probably better. The other thing too that you gotta consider is we're just barely able to one-shot these enemies, right? Yeah, so now we got 110 movement speed. So if I had a stronger Fey Trickster, obviously I would be going a lot faster. Here's the thing. If we actually had the attack speed swapped off of our gear and we were just doing like the crit damage, we would probably be one-shotting these bosses. I mean, obviously, you know, I got this guy pretty stacked as far as his stats are concerned, but you do gotta consider that we are rocking Crystal 3 gear, not Crystal 4. So this is very, very possible. I mean, obviously, it's still gonna be very difficult, but Crystal 4 gear, I would say, is probably a lot harder to get versus just getting Crystal 3. Like, Crystal 4 is disgusting, dude. But yeah, you can definitely end up maining the Knight in terms of just strength and power, and he's not going to be too bad in the Delves. I'm actually really curious to see how he's going to handle the Delves, just because of the sheer strength of this guy. Like, the fact that we would definitely be able to one-shot all these enemies and stuff if we ended up actually having the crit damage. So I'm excited to see that, how we're going to end up handling the Delves. I don't think we're going to end up doing that great, like, just based on the way that this character plays. I'm assuming that as soon as we end up getting to the Delves boss, that's where we're going to end up dealing with a lot of trouble, just because the Delves boss is kind of like the big thing where it's like, can you deal with it? Also, you can see, unfortunately, ranged, you know, these do still count as ranged attacks, so they are going to end up giving us some lag, some issues. They're just not always going to connect, I should say. They will connect for the most part, though, because it's different than the usual projectiles that you have in the game, because what's happening is it's kind of like shooting out a physical entity in front of you. So generally it is going to do a lot better than, I don't know, like Shadowhunter's ultimate ability or something like that. Yeah, you can always use your shield if you end up feeling so inclined, but generally speaking, it's just, you know, there's not really much point. You're not going to end up being like any more tanky. I mean, I guess you kind of are, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can see already, like, the whole thing is that we can kill dungeons just fine. It's the travel time that you gotta try and cut down, and that's going to end up being pretty difficult if you're maining the Knight. That said, if you're maining the Knight, you're maining the Knight because you think the class is cool and you don't really care about super duper speedster character, right? But the whole thing is that if you end up taking all of your gear on the Knight and just swapping over to the Neon Ninja, well, basically you're going to end up being just kind of the same, but way faster, you know what I mean? Anyways, let me get things set up and we'll head into the Delves. All right, gamers, so we're in depth 122, so that'll end up being okay. You guys might have noticed that with this 35k series, I've kind of been, I've been a little bit cheaty, I'll admit that. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going through this with my Knight, and then I'll probably end up swapping to the next class, so that I don't have to waste any more Delves portals, but of course then I record it separately. Anyways, we got clear rooms of creatures, easy enough. Even just using our normal attack, you can see we're doing absolutely fine as far as the damage is concerned. I mean, that's actually not bad. Like, we're doing 16k a hit, and then when we end up having the flash trigger, actually no, that wasn't the flash trigger. Is there, maybe that was like just a crit? No, we're doing crits. I don't know, these enemies are weak. Either way, like, Delves enemies are always kind of weak. I don't know why they are just like so much weaker than the boss. Like, as soon as we get to the boss, that's where we're going to end up really separating the men from the boys and finding out whether or not this character is going to end up being something a little bit more viable compared to a lot of the other characters. I mean, the thing is, the crowd control of the Knight is actually really, really good, just because of the fact that we can shoot our you know, shoot our ability through all of the enemies. which is really, really nice. Like, I still highly recommend the Knight. Everybody's always wondering, like, is the Knight a viable character? Yes, most definitely. I know I just kind of keep repeating that this whole video, but I mean, that's the thing, is there's not really that much else to say, just because the Knight itself ended up getting a rework like a year or two ago. It was a while back, honestly. And when the Knight ended up getting the rework, it ended up becoming like way more possible to end up using, just because your movement speed isn't hindered as much when you're using your subclass ability. Where the heck, or class gem ability, I should say. Where is this last idiot? He's like blending into the environment or something, dude. Unless this is him right here. Yeah, it was. Okay. But the problem is that, again, we're dealing with the lack of movement speed. I mean, you can see we're doing okay with Pyro Disc and, you know, our animated jug. Yeah, that's the one that I'm using and stuff like that. But so long as we just keep tagging random enemies, we're going to end up keeping our movement speed at a decent pace. But the whole thing is that the Knight doesn't really have that much base movement speed in general, let alone no abilities that really complement that, and that's what kind of holds the character back. I just want to paint you guys a more realistic picture of using this character. Now, let's actually test him out on the boss. I'm genuinely curious about this, because we should be able to do the damage. Yeah, so it's not bad. I would probably actually recommend, I don't think I have an energy regen item on me. I'm also going to actually cheese this and hide up here for a second, because I don't need trailblazing. I'm going to need martial. Do I have energy regen? Okay, no, I have a jump ring. So if you swap the jump ring out for an energy regen ring, that would probably be a lot better, just because it would make it, oh god, my flasks are low now. It would end up making it so that you're that much stronger. Just, I don't know, it would just be a lot better, because then we would be able to spam our class gem ability on cooldown, rather than you know, right now where we're dealing with the general lack of energy that is going on. Actually, you know what, come to think of it, I'm gonna swap to my Neon Ninja and take a quick peek. Do I have an energy regen on him? Yes, I do. It's only a stellar 3, but that will probably end up working out and being better than nothing anyways. Unfortunate. Oh my god, was I using a magic damage ring? So yeah, you can definitely one-shot bosses in U10, that's for sure. Jeez Louise, dude. Okay, see, now our energy regen's fine. And again, we've got the movement where we can end up kind of just kiting around these enemies and stuff. It's gonna be a bit tricky to do this on keyboard, just because my hand is literally clawed like some type of gargoyle. But it works. I mean, you can see for yourselves right here that the Knight just does not really do... This is where the Knight falls off. Like, he just doesn't really have the damage upkeep, like the time. You know, he does a lot of really good damage burst, but as soon as you're dealing with an opponent that requires you to end up having like a little bit more time on it, like this guy right here, it just is not compensating, dude. I mean, he's also taking like barely any damage just because of how powerful he is. Stupid light resistance and crap. Okay, so as long as we keep baiting out his slam attack, actually, we seem to be doing just fine as far as survivability. But the whole point is that if we were fighting any type of stronger opponent that actually had like more varied attacks, we would just be dead. There would be nothing that we could do, at least in terms of soloing. Like, the whole thing is, if you're playing delves, you're more than likely doing it in a group, in which case, yeah, you can use the Knight. You're not really going to be carrying your weight compared to a lot of other characters, but it works. And as you can see, when we have the movement speed, you can still solo it as well. But again, you know, it's entirely up to you. The whole thing is that the Knight, again, isn't a very good character for the delves, but you can very easily end up using it in Geode Surface, especially if you're not an idiot like me and use a proper stellar ring that gives you more physical damage. Then you will be able to probably one-shot bosses even with full Crystal 3. I'm also using the attack speed instead of crit damage, so even that fight would have gone a lot better if I had the proper stats and proper ring. But you know, this is kind of just here's a 35k Knight, here's what you can do with it kind of thing. Anyways, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel. This isn't my merch, this is Trove merch. I don't even know if you can buy Trove merch anymore now that Game Ago took over. Anyways, have yourselves a great day. We do have new merch. Bye guys.